Pavelski works at the Peoria Public Library. She sees her library as more than a place that houses books and computers. It's a community hub. And there are big issues like the rising heroin epidemic that just don't get discussed openly. Here's the deal. Opiate overdose is now one of the nation's top 7 health risks. 78 people actually die from it each day. Illinois has seen a 120% spike in opiate deaths. Roberta had the topic, but she needed support to make it happen. So she applied for and was awarded an Illinois Speaks micro grant to host 4 community dialogues at different libraries. At the first event, a young recovering addict shared his story. He ended up attending and speaking at all 4. Illinois Speaks is a new program at the Chicago-based Illinois Humanities Council. Founded in 1973, IHC programs all fall into 4 buckets: the arts, business, journalism and media, and public policy. What exactly is the problem that Illinois Speaks hopes to solve? It's that we've become so polarized that not only do we not agree on a lot of things, we don't even want to talk about them. It's easier to just shout at one another. With a population of 12.8 million, Illinois is not only divided along political lines, it straddles north and south, urban and rural, agriculture and industry, plus vast cultural, racial, and socioeconomic differences. Following the November elections, for a lot of people, even visits home can be painful, especially meals. So we asked what we as a small nonprofit with a staff of 13 could do to support people who want to bring their community together. That's how Illinois Speaks came about. Here's how it works. Anybody can apply to host a public dialogue. Just tell us the topic that you'd like to discuss, who will moderate, and what venue you'll use. We give you $250 to cover event expenses, plus training and facilitation. Since being launched last year, proposals have come in from all over, some for large town halls, others from people giving it a first try. Libraries, churches, nonprofits, community colleges, and high schools. Here are 5 examples of Illinois Speaks events. The Jacoby Art Center in Alton, Illinois screened the film Four-Way Stop, which raises questions around racial bias and privilege. They hoped for 35 people. More than 100 showed up. The Edgar Miller Legacy hosted a series of risk dialogues for artists and educators. They posed questions around the personal, artistic, and financial factors that keep artists and educators from taking bolder steps in their work. The Greater Chicago Food Depository screened the film Just Eat It, and along with a panel explored ways that we can all reduce feed waste, volunteer with local food rescue operations, and help increase awareness about the issue. Kusanya Cafe, a small coffee shop on 69th Street in Chicago, hosted 4 community conversations on access to good food, education, the threat of gentrification, and efforts around peace in the neighborhood. Finally, the Post family hosted a series of discussions around the social impact of virtual reality. To spark creative dialogue, they let participants experiment with an immersive device called a tilt brush. So, where is Illinois Speaks headed? Our goal is to have funded a dialogue in every Illinois county by the end of 2018. Some in Pilsen, Hyde Park, Humboldt Park, Elgin are already regular monthly conversations now. Surveys show that the majority of attendees come away eager to learn more about the topic, eager to attend future events, feeling that their own voice has been heard, but also feeling that their own ability to listen to others has improved. Of course, this new program has faced bumps. Sometimes using a cell phone-based post-event survey is an obstacle, it turns out. So now we offer paper and pencil surveys too when groups request them. Another challenge is sort of a bigger societal one. Simply put, some people prefer their own bubble. So there's definitely a self-selection process at play in who decides to attend events like these and who doesn't. Nonetheless, even though it feels like baby steps, demand is surging. And we're working with the League of Women Voters, church groups, the Illinois Library Association, and others to get the word out across the state of Illinois. Which brings us back to Roberta. She was just in Peoria's first addiction awareness walk and is working with Bradley University to create a study group on addiction. She's now planning a talk for librarians across the state so that others can learn from her and take on similar projects. Thank you.